what's up guys? Got Coach Jake here with you and Coach Carl. So today we're going to be discussing our how-to on fatigue management and recovery. So we're going to start out putting that into context about what exactly we're talking about. So we're going to mention hopefully words that aren't too big, but we're going to talk about general adaptation syndrome. So what exactly is going on whenever you're in here doing your training, what physiologically is going on with the human body. So we're going to talk about the stimulus recovery adaptation, and this is conceptually how we map it out. So your body is, just in a survival mode. You're at homeostasis, your body is just cruising along. All of a sudden, when you do your resistance training, you're giving yourself a stimulus and producing an alarm. So all of a sudden, your body is going from homeostasis and it's depleting. Actually, you're tearing down your body and the systems that your body uses in order to fuel that workout. So after you're given that alarm, your body has to adapt. That way, if you go in contact with the same stimulus, that's going to happen. You picked up 300 pounds, your body's got to be able to pick up 300 pounds again, so your body's got to adapt in order to do that. So next, you're going to go into this resistance stage in which your body's going to adapt and actually undergo like a super compensation, if you will. That way it can handle more than it was able to handle before. Once you've hit that peak, you go through this exhaustion in which that adaptation starts to dissipate. So that's why it's important that once you start your workout program, you continue on with it week after week, and also finding some sort of progression. That way you're providing that stimulus for overload. Otherwise, if you just work out once a month, all your adaptation is going to dissipate and go away. So it's important that this is conceptually how we map it out. So before this exhaustion happens, you want to provide another stimulus so you can undergo another super compensation and continue to reap those gains. And then also understand this happens for a lot of different systems in the body. So talking about like how your muscles are fueled, they have water and glycogen that sit in the muscle. You might need a day off or a light day so that you can restore up that glycogen in the muscle to further fuel your workouts. Talking about your nervous system, this goes on for like a week. So you might be working out 4 or 5 weeks, and then you might need to take a deload where you're backing off the weight, backing off the volume a little bit. That way you can go and hit it hard that next 4 to 5 week bout. And then your connective tissues like your ligaments, your tendons, cartilage, so on, that might take weeks to even months. So in that case, you might need an entire recovery phase. That way your body is fully healed up and ready to take on that new overload for that next phase of training. So that's just conceptually what's going on when you're doing your training. And so, Carl, you want to add on to that as far as the bigger picture goes?
Yeah, so just as far as like big picture is concerned so again, you're introducing that stimulus, so a new training protocol, right? You start a new weightlifting program, maybe you're brand new to the gym, maybe you've taken some months off, you've come back from an injury. So again, like Jake was saying, you've got that stimulus which creates that alarm. And so you're starting that new training program, your body starts to adapt, just like he was saying, that's where your body adapts, it starts to resist kind of that change and changes to allow you to continue to do that. Right in here, this period is where, as you're adapting, as your body's responding to that new stimulus, is where recovery is just very, very vital and important. Because the longer that goes on, especially if you don't give your body a break, you'll start to move into that exhaustion phase. And things that play into, as well with recovery, things that play into this general adaptation syndrome, it's important to note nutrition, just as far as if you're trying to gain muscle, that you're eating in a surplus, or if you're trying to maintain, knowing where those calories need to be at, so you're giving the appropriate amount of nutrition to your body. If you're trying to lose weight, that you're not eating at too much of a deficit as well. Generally, the recommendation is about 500 calorie deficit a day, which equates out to about 3,500 calories for the week, which equates to about a pound a week, which is kind of that safe rate at which to lose weight, 1 to 2 pounds. So nutrition plays a huge part of this. Another thing that is often neglected is sleep. Recommended to get 7 to 9 hours of sleep for most people. Most people can't get away with less than that. And if you're not hitting that REM and that deep sleep, your body's not really recovering. And usually in order to hit those cycles that you need about 7 to 9 hours. Most people do. Not everybody, but for the most part we do. And that changes as we age as well. And then another huge thing that a lot of people probably don't think about as far as recovery from exercise is your stress. That can be, psychological stress. You got to keep in mind that exercise is physical stress as well. So keeping that in mind, that you're stressing the body, and therefore it needs to recover. Just like you need a mental break from stress and need to kind of unplug, your body needs the same thing. That's why it's so important, especially with programming. And like what we do with you all here is that we're always trying to make sure that we have some recovery in there for you, like deload week, you'll hear us call it sometimes as well, and that you're putting that into your training protocol, just so that way you can de-stress. But again, keeping in mind, mental stress also plays a role. If you have a lot of stress from work, life, just in general, it's good to kind of pull back, unplug, because that can increase cortisol levels, can cause you to hold on to weight that you may not want to hold on to if you're trying to lose weight. There's all kinds of stuff that play into that. So it's important to remember that when you're trying to properly recover, these are really the big three: your nutrition, your sleep, and your stress, and they all kind of play into one another.
Yeah, I'd say that's right on. I would just, the only thing I'd add is for the weight loss crowd, if weight loss is your priority, again, even being in that deficit, you really want to make sure that you're still getting that protein intake. The same as if you were trying to build muscle, when we try to shy away from the term weight loss, we like to say fat loss because you need to sustain that muscle so you can keep up that metabolism to continue on that goal. So yeah, generally I think the number is 1.2 to 1.8 grams per kilogram of body weight. So we get the question, do you need 1 gram per body, 1 gram per pound of body weight? That's a little much, that's probably the top end of what you need. So yeah, 1.2, 1.8, and even that varies depending on your daily activity, the stresses of your job, the physical demand of your job, and so on. So yeah, that covers it. So again, this is what's going on whenever you do your workout. Prioritize these things and reap the most benefit out of this curve and take advantage of it. So that's it for your how-to for today. Thank you guys for tuning in. See you guys.